The knock came just past midnight. Aiden blinked up from the couch. He was watching the new Demon Slayer anime. He wasn't expecting anyone, especially not at this hour. The sound came again. He frowned and walked across the small apartment. "Who is that?" he muttered, unlocking the door. When it swung open, a tall, devastatingly handsome man stood there. He had pale skin, hair as black as ink, and eyes that caught the faintest glint of red, though Aiden thought maybe that was just the light playing tricks on him. "You're Aiden?" the stranger asked, his voice deep and low, making Aiden's chest tighten for some reason he couldn't name. Yeah, you must be." "Xander," the man finished. "The new housemate, right. His new roommate was supposed to move in this weekend." Aiden hadn't expected him to show up by this time. Come in, I guess," Aiden said, stepping aside. "It's late, man. Couldn't wait until morning?" Xander entered the apartment, rolling a black suitcase behind him. His movements were fluid, almost too graceful. "Mornings aren't really my thing," he said simply, his tone flat. Aiden shut the door, glancing at him curiously. "You one of those night shift types?" "You could say that." Xander nodded. "Well, your room's down the hall, last door on the left," Aiden said, scratching the back of his neck. "I run a flower shop downtown, so I'm usually up early. I'll try not to make too much noise, yeah?" Xander tilted his head slightly, eyes narrowing as he studied Aiden's face, as if committing it to memory. "You're safe," he murmured. "Safe? From the noise, I mean. I don't mind the noise," Xander added, almost like a correction. He turned and disappeared down the hall. Aiden stood there for a moment, uneasy. He'd had roommates before, students, travelers, even one guy who played guitar at 3 a.m., but this one felt different. Something in the air had changed the moment Xander stepped inside. Aiden went back to the couch, telling himself he was just tired, but as he drifted off to sleep, he couldn't shake the image of those strange red eyes. And down the hall, behind a closed door, Xander stood by the window, watching the moonlight. His tongue brushed over the sharp edge of his fang as he whispered to himself, "His scent is too sweet." The first morning after Xander moved in, Aiden woke up early as usual, because flowers don't water themselves and customers don't appreciate dead flowers. He yawned, stretched, and shuffled into the kitchen in an oversized t-shirt. The sun poured through the apartment windows, filling everything with a golden warmth. He was humming softly, halfway through making breakfast, when he heard movement behind him. "Morning," Aiden said brightly, turning around, just in time to catch Xander flinching away from the sunlight, streaming through the window, like physically recoiling, as if the light itself had insulted him. "You okay?" Aiden asked, blinking. "I'm fine," Xander said, already reaching up to yank the curtains shut. The room plunged into near darkness. Aiden stood there holding his spatula. "Wow, okay. Love what you've done with the lighting." Xander didn't respond. He just went to the fridge, grabbed a flask bottle, and drank from it. Aiden tried again. "So you're not a morning person, huh?" "Like I said, I prefer nights." "Right, so like bats." One dark eyebrow lifted slowly. "Excuse me?" Aiden flushed. "Anyway, you can come by my flower shop downtown if you ever need plants or company." Xander gave him a flat look. "I don't do plants." And that was the end of that conversation. Over the next few days, Aiden started noticing a pattern. Every time he walked into a room, Xander found a reason to leave it. If Aiden sat on the couch, Xander stood up. If Aiden took a step forward, Xander took 2 steps back. It was like living with a socially anxious cat that hated sunlight. Once, Aiden tried to hand him a mug of tea. Their fingers almost brushed, and Xander snatched his hand back so fast he nearly dropped the cup. "Whoa," Aiden said. "Relax, it's not that hot." "Right," Xander said stiffly, staring anywhere but at Aiden. Aiden sighed. "You know, if you hate me, you can just say it. I won't take it personally." Xander froze. "I don't hate you." "Really? Because it feels like you're allergic to my presence." Xander frowned. "It's complicated." Then he muttered something about needing to unpack and slipped back into his dark bedroom. Aiden stared after him, confused and oddly intrigued. "What is his deal, man?" he mumbled. But Xander, safely behind his closed door, pressed his back to it. He could still smell the faint trace of Aiden's skin, the scent that drove his hunger wild. "Idiot," he whispered to himself. "If I don't stay away, I'll drink him dry." By the next morning, Aiden had officially decided if Xander wouldn't come out of his cave willingly, he'd lure him out with pancakes. Everyone loved pancakes. He was halfway through flipping a batch when he called out, "Hey, Rumi, I made breakfast. Actual food, not just that weird red juice you keep in the fridge." No answer. He frowned and leaned around the corner toward the hallway. "Xander." A muffled groan came from the vampire's room. Aiden grinned. "Gotcha." 2 minutes later, Xander appeared, hair slightly messy. He moved like someone who hadn't slept at all. His skin looked even paler against his black clothes. "I thought you didn't eat in the mornings," Aiden teased. "Or at all." Xander gave him a look that said, "Don't push it. You were being loud. That's called hospitality." Aiden handed him a plate and a fork. "Try it. My pancakes are divine." Xander hesitated, staring down at the stack like it might attack him. "You really think these are safe for me? What are you, gluten intolerant?" "Something like that," Xander muttered. Aiden just laughed and turned back to the stove, humming as he sliced up strawberries. Aiden's floral scent was intoxicating. Xander tried not to breathe too deeply. He could already hear Aiden's heartbeat. It called to him in a way he hadn't felt in decades. Then, ow! Aiden flinched back, hissing softly as the knife slipped. He had cut himself across his fingertip. "Ah! Damn," he started, reaching for a napkin. But before he could, Xander was already there. One moment he was across the kitchen. The next, he was right in front of Aiden, moving faster than any human should. His hand caught Aiden's wrist gently, and before Aiden could even gasp, Xander's mouth closed over the small cut. Warm, wet, soft. Aiden's breath hitched. His brain blanked as he felt Xander's tongue glide over his finger, slow and deliberate, tasting the blood away. The air between them shifted. Xander's eyes fluttered half shut, a quiet sound escaping him that sounded far too much like a groan. "Xander," Aiden breathed, not sure if he was supposed to pull away or, God forbid, lean closer. Then, just as suddenly, Xander froze. Realization slammed into him. His eyes snapped open, bright red glowing faintly in the dim kitchen light. He let go instantly, stumbling a step back, his chest rising and falling like he'd just run a mile. His voice came out hoarse. "I'm sorry." Aiden just stared, his heart pounding so hard he could hear it. You sucked my finger, dude." Xander turned away, one hand covering his mouth. "You were bleeding." "Yeah, but you sucked my finger." "I was trying to stop it," Xander snapped, though his voice trembled with restraint. "That's what people do, right?" Aiden blinked. "That's what vampires do, maybe." Silence. "I am a vampire," Xander admitted. "Sure you are," Aiden said sarcastically, rolling his eyes, clearly not believing him. Xander's jaw clenched. "You should be more careful with knives." Xander brushed past him and disappeared into his darkened room again, the door clicking shut behind him. Aiden stood frozen in the middle of the kitchen, still holding the knife, cheeks burning. He looked down at his finger. His eyes widened as he sees that it was now perfectly healed. "Wait, did I even cut myself?" he muttered to himself, as there was no other way to explain the situation. All day, Aiden couldn't stop thinking about the finger thing. "Get a grip," he muttered under his breath. "He's not a vampire. Vampires aren't real. He's just pale and weird and allergic to mornings. He's probably emo or gothic." By the weekend, Head mostly convinced himself, except for one small problem. Head started waking up exhausted. At first, he thought it was stress, not enough sleep. But then he noticed his reflection one morning. His skin looked pale. His lips were colorless. Every morning after that, he woke up feeling worse. Dizzy. Weak. Like someone had been draining him of energy while he slept. And sometimes, when he turned his head just right, there were faint red marks on his neck. He told himself it was probably mosquito bites. By the 7th night, Aiden was officially freaked out. He went to bed with a cup of garlic tea and his bedroom door locked. "Just in case," he muttered, even though he wasn't sure what he was guarding against. But somewhere around 3 a.m., he stirred awake. Something felt off. The air was cooler than usual, the room darker, and then he felt it, a weight beside him. His eyes snapped open. There, sitting on the edge of his bed, was Xander, silent. His pale hand rested near Aiden's hip, fingers twitching slightly like he was holding himself back. His eyes were glowing faintly red in the darkness. Aiden froze. Xander? His voice came out rough and small. Xander didn't answer right away. His gaze was fixed on Aiden's throat, a fresh mark on it. Xander swallowed, his voice barely a whisper. I didn't mean to wake you. Aiden pushed himself up slowly, heart pounding. What are you doing in my bed? Silence again. Then Xander replied softly. I could hear your heartbeat from my room. It was loud. Okay, Aiden said, trying to sound calm. That's not creepy at all. Xander's jaw tightened. I wasn't going to hurt you. Oh, good, because the sneaking into my room at night part is totally fine, right? His voice cracked a little, but he couldn't help it. Xander reached up, brushing a thumb over Aiden's neck. I told myself I wouldn't, but your blood is like honey. I can't. Aiden's breath hitched. The touch sent heat shooting down his spine. You really are a vampire? Xander's lips twitched into a humorless smile. Now you believe me? Xander was too close now, his breath ghosting over Aiden's throat. I shouldn't have done this, Xander murmured, voice trembling with restraint. But you taste so good. And I haven't tasted anything like you. Aiden's pulse raced under his skin. If you bite me again, I swear ill. You'll what? Xander whispered, leaning closer, lips barely an inch from his neck. Run? Scream? Aiden's breath caught. For a heartbeat, neither of them moved. The tension so thick it felt like the world had stopped breathing. Then Xander suddenly stood, backing away fast. I shouldn't be here, he said sharply, more to himself than Aiden. I'm sorry. Before Aiden could speak, Xander was gone, slipping out into the hallway. Aiden didn't sleep after that. He lay there, staring at the ceiling. By morning, his brain had fully spiraled. Aiden was in the kitchen, trying to convince himself it was just a dream. He's not a vampire, he muttered, pacing the kitchen. He's just weird, and likes hanging out in people's bedrooms like a creep. Then he glanced at the mirror above the sink, and froze. The mark on his neck was red. Fresh. Okay, he said aloud. Maybe he's like a partial vampire. That was about when Xander walked in. He avoided Aiden's eyes at first, going straight for the fridge. Morning, Aiden said stiffly, gripping his mug like a weapon. So, can you now explain to me what the fuck you were doing last night? Xander closed his eyes, exhaling softly. Aiden. No, don't Aiden me, he said, voice rising slightly. You snuck into my room. Do you have any idea how terrifying it is to wake up with someone sitting on your bed at 3 a.m.? I told you I didn't mean to. Oh, right. You just accidentally teleported into my room because you were, what, bored? Xander's jaw clenched. I was hungry. That shut Aiden up. Hungry? He repeated slowly. As in, you wanted a midnight snack and I was it? Xander set down the glass he'd been holding. I tried to stay away, he said quietly. You don't understand what it's like to live, surrounded by the scent of blood this sweet. Aiden blinked. He now fully registers that vampires are real. For a long moment, neither of them said anything. Then Aiden, still standing by the counter, muttered, So, you drink blood? Yes. My blood. Xander hesitated. Yes. Aiden just stared. You didn't ask me if I wanted to be your juice box, you know? Xander let out a quiet sigh, guilt flickering in his eyes. I'm sorry, I tried to stop, tried to feed elsewhere, but it doesn't satisfy. Not since I started drinking yours. He stopped, shaking his head. Yours is different. I couldn't resist. Okay, ew, but also, weirdly flattering, Aiden said before he could stop himself. Xander looked down in guilt. I should have told you the truth. I just didn't want you to look at me the way everyone else does. That made Aiden pause. I don't hate you, Aiden said softly. I just wish you hadn't turned me into your blood donor without asking first. Xander's lips twitched. Fair. I'll stop feeding from you, Xander said firmly. You've already given too much. Aiden nodded. That would be nice. Xander's gaze flicked up to his neck for half a second before he looked away. You smell too good for your own safety, Xander muttered. What was that? Nothing. For a few days things seemed almost normal. After Xander's confession, he swore off feeding from Aiden. He avoided eye contact, kept to his room, and when Aiden passed him in the hallway, he looked like someone barely holding himself together. Aiden, meanwhile, had gotten his color back. His energy returned. He threw himself into his flower shop, pretending everything was fine. But every time he came home, the apartment felt colder. He barely saw Xander anymore. His bedroom door closed, and the only sign of life was his pacing footsteps at night. Restless. It went on for a week, until one night, Aiden couldn't take it anymore. He came home late, kicking off his shoes, calling out softly, "Xander, you alive in there?" No answer. He walked down the hall and stopped in front of Xander's door. He knocked once. "Hey, it's me." Still nothing. Aiden hesitated for a second, then turned the knob. The room was dark and cold. Xander sat on the floor beside his bed, head in his hands. His breathing was uneven, shallow. "Xander." The vampire flinched, lifting his head. His eyes glowed faintly red, veins visible under his skin. He looked wrecked. Beautiful, but wrecked. "Aiden, you shouldn't be here," he said hoarsely. "I told you to stay away." "Yeah, well, you've been hiding in here for a week," Aiden said softly, stepping closer. "You look like hell." Xander gave a humorless laugh. "I can't feed anymore. Not properly. Every taste, every drop, it's wrong. It's not you." Aiden's heart clenched. He crouched in front of him. "You're starving, aren't you?" Xander's jaw clenched. "I can handle it." "Clearly not," Aiden said dryly, gesturing at his trembling hands. "You look you are about to pass out." "Aiden, I'm fine. Just feed from me." Xander froze. His head snapped up, eyes burning red now. "No, why not?" "Because I won't stop this time," he whispered, his voice low, trembling. "You don't understand what you're offering." Aiden's pulse skipped. "Then make me understand." He reached up, tugging off his hoodie, revealing the soft stretch of his neck. Xander's breathing hitched audibly. "Aiden, you said it yourself. My blood's different. You can't keep starving like this." "I can't feed from you," Xander said, pushing himself back against the wall as if distance alone could save him. "You don't know how it feels. When I taste you, everything else disappears. It's not hunger anymore. It's—" He stopped, fists tightening. "It's you." Aiden's lips curved into a small, daring smile. "Maybe that's not a bad thing." He leaned in, slowly, deliberately, until his scent filled Xander's lungs again. The vampire's pupils dilated, and his lips parted involuntarily. "Aiden, please," Xander whispered, voice cracking. "Don't tempt me." But Aiden didn't stop. He leaned closer, then tilted his head slightly, baring his throat. "Take me," Aiden murmured. Xander's control snapped. He caught Aiden by the waist in one swift movement, pinning him gently against the edge of the bed. His lips hovered just above Aiden's neck, breath trembling. Xander's eyes fluttered shut. His lips brushed against Aiden's skin, a ghost of a kiss, before his fangs grazed it. Then he bit. Not too deep, just enough to draw blood, enough to draw a gasp from Aiden's throat, his fingers clutching at Xander's shirt as warmth bloomed under his skin. It hurt for a heartbeat, then melted into something dizzying, electric. Xander groaned softly, his grip tightened, but his mouth softened, tongue soothing the mark even as he drank. Aiden's breath came fast, his voice barely a whisper. "Xander." Xander pulled back suddenly, fangs retracting, chest heaving. He looked ruined, lips stained red, eyes wild. After Xander pulled away for the second time, Aiden stayed exactly where he was, pressed against the bed frame, neck exposed, breath still shaky. Xander stumbled backward like he'd been burned. His lips were red, and he wiped his mouth with the back of his hand like he couldn't believe what he'd just done. "Aiden." His voice cracked. "I didn't mean to. I couldn't stop." "You stopped," Aiden said softly. "So clearly you could." Xander laughed once, sharp and pained. "I didn't stop. You did." Aiden blinked. "I what?" "You said my name," Xander breathed. "Like you wanted me. Like you—" He cut himself off, pacing, fingers digging into his hair. "I almost lost control." Aiden swallowed, the raw honesty hitting him harder than the bite had. "You didn't hurt me." "I could've. But you didn't." Xander's head snapped up, eyes hard. "Don't make excuses for me." Aiden opened his mouth, then closed it. Xander stepped back, pressing himself against the wall, like distance alone could keep him sane. His whole body trembled with restraint. "You need to leave," Xander said quietly, "before I make another mistake." Aiden froze. "You're kicking me out?" for your safety, but I'm fine. Xander's eyes flashed. Aiden. That one word, low, commanding, desperate, made Aiden's throat go dry. He nodded slowly and backed away. Okay, go. And Aiden left, closing the door behind him. Aiden's legs almost gave out. He slid down his own bedroom door, fingers touching the bite mark on his neck. The spot throbbed with heat, with something he didn't want to name yet. Some days later, Aiden woke, sometime after midnight, to a strange, familiar feeling. He opened his eyes, slowly, and saw a dark silhouette sitting beside his bed. Xander, he whispered, though he already knew. The vampire didn't move, but even in the dark, Aiden could see the way Xander's shoulders were shaking, the way his face was buried in his hands. I tried, Xander said softly, voice ragged. Aiden sat up, pulling the blanket around his waist. Xander, what's wrong? The vampire lifted his head. His eyes glowed bright red. You, Xander breathed. You're what's wrong. Aiden's heart skipped. Me? Yes, Xander said, voice breaking. I can't feed from anyone else anymore. Not animals, not humans. I can't even swallow it. It tastes like ash. Everything tastes like nothing. He leaned forward, too close. But you. His gaze dropped to Aiden's neck. A flash of fangs. You taste like something I thought I'd forgotten. You make me feel alive. Aiden's breath caught. The words hit deeper than they should have. Then, why did you run from me? Because wanting you this much terrifies me, Xander whispered, leaning in until their noses almost brushed. Aiden's pulse stuttered. Take what you need. Xander shut his eyes in agony. Don't say that unless you understand what you're offering. Aiden reached up slowly and slipped off his hoodie again, revealing his bare neck. Xander sucked in a sharp breath, fangs sliding down instinctively. Aiden. Aiden leaned closer, voice barely a whisper. I trust you. Xander let out a broken sound and grabbed the bedframe behind Aiden's head. Don't do this to me, he whispered, forehead resting against Aiden's. Don't tempt me unless you want more than a bite. Aiden's throat bobbed. What if I do? Xander froze. Completely. His breathing stopped. His eyes widened. His fangs trembled just inches from Aiden's skin. Aiden, he whispered, almost reverent. Say it again. Aiden leaned forward, lips brushing Xander's cheek, whispering, I want you to take more. Xander snapped. He grabbed Aiden's waist, pulling him into his lap in one swift, hungry motion, breath shaking violently against Aiden's throat. His lips hovered over the pulse point, hot, trembling, desperate, before he pressed a slow, burning kiss to the mark he'd left. Aiden's breath hitched, fingers curling in Xander's shirt. Tell me to stop, Xander whispered one last time, voice low and sinful. Aiden tilted his head back, offering his neck completely. I won't. And Xander kissed him on his lips deeply, moving from his lips to trail kisses down his neck. Then he sank his fangs in his neck again, deeper, hotter, slower. This time, it wasn't just feeding. This time, it was something else entirely. Something addictive. Something intimate. Something neither of them could take back. The next morning, Aiden woke up to pain. Not the ow I slept funny kind. No. This was the I got manhandled by a vampire with superhuman strength kind. He groaned, rolling onto his back. Bad idea. Terrible idea. Oh my God, he whispered to himself, face on fire. He tried to sit up. Ow. Okay, fantastic. That's when the door creaked open. Xander peeked in. Xander. The vampire who last night went from don't tempt me to you're not leaving this bed alive, but like in a good way. And right now, Xander looked mortified. He peeked in the bedroom like a guilty cat, eyes wide, cheeks pinker than he should physically be able to blush. Oh, Aiden croaked, pointing at him weakly. You. Xander winced. Me. Aiden narrowed his eyes. Why am I so sore? Xander looked at the floor. Because vampire strength is difficult to moderate when emotionally compromised. Aiden blinked. Emotionally compromised? Xander shyly covered his face with both hands. So you're saying, Aiden sighed dramatically, you broke me because you caught feelings. Xander looked like he was ready to evaporate out of shame. Aiden, please. Vampire feelings. Aiden. Vampire crush. Aiden. Vampire horny. Xander blushed in embarrassment, then suddenly vanished, like literally blur vanished. only to reappear at Aiden's bedside holding bath towels. Xander helped Aiden into the bathroom. Every time Aiden hissed or winced, Xander twitched like he'd been shot. "I can do it myself," Aiden tried. He lifted one leg into the tub. He immediately grabbed Xander's shirt to keep from falling. Xander's lips pressed tight. "Al, help. You just want to see me naked again." Xander choked. "I do not. I mean, I do. That is not. Aiden." "Oh my God," Aiden cackled. "You're so red." Aiden slid in with a gasp. Warm water easing some of the soreness. Xander knelt beside the bath, biting his lip, refusing to look directly. He washed Aiden's shoulders gently, like he was handling the world's most fragile flower. Aiden melted. "You don't have to do all this." Xander dipped the cloth again. "I hurt you. I take responsibility." "You didn't hurt me," Aiden corrected softly. "You just didn't realize you were manhandling a human." Xander flinched. "Exactly. And I lost control. I should have been careful. I should have." Aiden grabbed his wrist, stopping him. "Hey, if I didn't want it, you wouldn't have gotten anywhere near me." Xander froze, eyes locked on him. "You wanted it." Aiden smirked. "Did I look like I was complaining?" Xander's entire body glitched. "Please," he whispered. "I'm trying to behave." After the bath, Aiden got wrapped in fluffy towels and shuffled to the couch. Xander blurred around the kitchen, trying to cook, trying. Finally, Xander presented breakfast. Aiden stared. "Why does the toast have teeth marks?" Xander turned scarlet. "I panicked." "You panicked and bit the toast?" Xander sank into the chair next to him. "I wanted to make sure it tastes good." Aiden rolled his eyes, but took a bite anyway. It had been weeks after that morning. One night, Aiden stayed late at the shop, rearranging bouquets and humming to himself. It would have been peaceful, anyway, if the front door didn't chime at 10 p.m. Aiden's heart jumped. "Sorry, we're closed, but if you need something small, I can." "Something small?" A smooth, velvety voice echoed around the room. Aiden looked up. The man walking in was gorgeous, tall, lean, pale. He smiled politely. Or maybe not politely. More scarily polite. Aiden gulped. You need flowers?" The stranger stepped closer, inhaling deeply. "Oh," he murmured. "You smell fascinating." Aiden blinked. "Sorry?" The man leaned in a little too close, sniffing again. "You smell sweet, pure." His fingers brushed Aiden's wrist lightly. "Okay," Aiden said, stepping back. "That is, extremely personal for flower shopping." The stranger chuckled darkly. "Oh, I'm not here for flowers." Aiden froze, then very helpfully asked the stupidest question possible. "Are you here for fertilizer?" The man stared. "I'm a vampire." "Oh," Aiden said brightly. "Right, wait, what?" Before the stranger could say another word, the shop door slammed open again. Xander stormed in, eyes glowing red, fangs fully visible. He strode toward Aiden and yanked him behind his back with one smooth, territorial motion. "Step away from him." Xander snarled, voice nothing like the soft one he used with Aiden. The stranger raised both hands casually. "Oh, please, Xander, I'm not touching him." "You breathed near him," Xander snapped. "That's touching." Aiden peeked out from behind Xander. "You two know each other?" The stranger smirked. "We've met, briefly. He tried to decapitate me." Aiden looked shocked. "Xander?" Xander, through clenched teeth. "He deserved it." "I just said I wanted to taste you," the stranger shrugged. Xander growled. Aiden had never seen him this feral, this possessive, this alive. The stranger turned his gaze back to Aiden, eyes glowing faint. "So, your blood is the one making him crazy. I see the appeal." Xander's hand tightened around Aiden's wrist possessively. "Say another word about him, and I will rip your jaw off." Aiden whispered, "Xander, maybe don't threaten people in my shop. He was sniffing you." "People sniff flowers." "He wasn't sniffing the flowers." The stranger sighed dramatically. "Relax, I'm only here to warn you. Feeding from him again will complete the bond. You know what that means." Aiden blinked. "Bond? What bond?" Xander stiffened, like full body freeze. The stranger smirked at him. "Oh, you haven't told him." Aiden whispered. "Xander, what's he talking about?" Xander didn't answer. The stranger did. A vampire can only form a blood bond once in their entire existence. One human. One lifetime. One mate. Aiden's mind went blank. Mate. Xander looked physically pained. I didn't want you to find out like this. So if he feeds from me again, Aiden breathed. The stranger finished. Congratulations. You'll be bound for life. He won't taste anyone else, and he'll starve without you. Silence. Aiden turned to Xander slowly. Is that true? Xander swallowed hard. Aiden, I would never force you to. I wasn't going to. I was gonna leave. Leave? Aiden's voice cracked. If you didn't want the bond, Xander whispered, eyes finally meeting his. I'd rather starve somewhere far from you than hurt you by staying. Aiden stared, heart racing, throat tight. Xander, you idiot. The stranger perked up. Oh, this part is getting good. Aiden grabbed Xander's shirt and yanked him down to eye level. You were gonna leave me? Xander looked wrecked, eyes bright with guilt. He didn't even try to defend himself. To protect you, he whispered. Aiden's jaw clenched so hard it hurt. Protect me? From what, Xander? From you? Xander didn't answer, which told Aiden everything. The strange vampire shifted awkwardly behind them, raising a hand. So, I should go? Yes? Good, great. And he slipped out the door like a guilty raccoon. The bell didn't even jingle. He left too fast. But Aiden barely noticed. He was too busy glaring at the vampire in front of him. The walk home was tense. Xander tried to follow behind Aiden like a scolded child, head down, hands shoved in pockets, aura heavy with shame. Aiden marched ahead, furious, shoving the key into the apartment door. The lights flicked on. He spun on Xander. Why? Aiden demanded. Why would you leave? Xander looked at the floor. You deserve a normal life, Aiden. You don't understand what you're getting into. Oh? Aiden crossed his arms. Then explain it to me, right now, and don't you dare give me the I'm dangerous speech again. Xander hesitated. Aiden stepped closer. Xander backed up until his back hit the wall. We're not doing that avoiding me thing tonight. Aiden planted a hand on the wall beside Xander's head. You're talking. Xander swallowed. Aiden, if I bite you again and the bond completes, my instincts will be stronger. I'll be more possessive, more protective. I'll want you all the time. I'll want to be near you constantly. I'll feel everything you feel. I'll need you. And if anyone threatens you, I could lose control. Aiden blinked. That's it? Xander stared at him like he had grown two heads. Yes, that's it. That's what you were protecting me from? Aiden demanded. Xander muttered. A lifetime of an overprotective vampire glued to your side. Yes. Aiden threw his hands up. Xander, I live with you. That's different. How? Xander's voice broke. Because once the bond is sealed, I won't be able to walk away from you. Not ever. Not even if you want me to. And I didn't want to trap you in something you didn't ask for. Aiden stared at him. Xander, Aiden whispered, I'm already in something I didn't ask for. You made this happen the moment you fed on me at night without telling me. Xander flinched. So don't pretend you're doing me some huge, noble favor. You weren't protecting me. Aiden leaned in, breath ghosting over Xander's lips. You were running from me. Xander's voice cracked. I was scared. Aiden cupped his jaw gently, then gripped hard, forcing Xander to meet his eyes. I don't need protection from you, Aiden said softly, because I'm not scared of you. Xander's breath shuddered. You should be. Aiden leaned closer, lips brushing the corner of his mouth. Then make me. Xander froze. Every instinct in his body screamed. You don't know what we're asking, he whispered, voice shaking with restraint. Aiden laughed, low and warm and deadly. Oh, I know exactly what I'm asking. His fingers slid under Xander's jaw, tilting his head. Aiden's throat was exposed, pulse fluttering right in Xander's line of sight. I'm asking you to stop running, Aiden whispered, and take what you want. Xander's fangs descended instantly. He sucked in a sharp breath, his whole body trembling with the effort to stay still. Aiden, please. You were going to leave me, Aiden murmured. You don't get to leave. Not now. Not ever. Then Aiden pressed his body against his and whispered, Finish what you started. Xander broke. He grabbed Aiden's waist, pulling him tight. Lips trailing slowly down his neck, right over the heel bite. His voice was a trembling growl against Aiden's skin. Don't blame me if I don't stop this time. Aiden smiled. I'm counting on it. It took less than a second, for Xander to carry Aiden up to his bedroom and gently lay him on the bed. Aiden felt Xander's cool fingers brush his jaw. "You're sure?" Xander whispered, voice trembling. "Feeding from someone you love. It bonds you. Permanently." Aiden pulled him down by the shirt. "Come on, Fang boy, I trust you." Xander gave in. His fangs sank in gently, almost reverently, and Aiden felt light, warm, electric, but something strange happened this time. Instead of faintness, a slow burn of strength rushed through him. His fingers curled in the sheets. "Xander, I feel weird." Xander pulled away instantly, worried. "Did I hug you?" "No," Aiden said, breathing hard. "I feel strong." And he did. His vision sharpened. His limbs felt powerful. His heartbeat slowed to a steady stay, unnatural rhythm. Xander's eyes widened. "Aiden, we're now bonded." Aiden blinked. "Like boyfriend bonded? Soulmate bonded? Vampire Wi-Fi connected?" Xander covered his face. "Aiden, what? I'm trying to understand." Xander lowered his hands, cheeks pink. When a vampire feeds from someone they love, truly love, and that person accepts them willingly, a bond forms. You won't become a full vampire, but you'll gain traits. Strength, sensitivity, longevity. Aiden's breath hitched. "So, I won't die before you?" "You'll have a near-immortal life," Xander murmured. "You'll age slowly. You'll be stronger than any human. Fast, connected to me. You'll feel when you're hurt. You'll feel when I'm near." His voice softened to a whisper. "But only because you chose me." Aiden stared at him for a long moment. Then he smiled. Soft, genuine, full of love that wrapped around Xander, like a warm blanket. "Xander," he said quietly, taking his hands. "I'd love to spend eternity with you." Xander's breath caught. "Aiden." Aiden leaned up and kissed him, slow and deep, tasting of warmth and the future and something endless. Xander kissed him back, with centuries of longing melting into one perfect moment. Outside, the moon rose. Inside, a vampire and his now immortal florist curled into each other like they'd been doing this for 1,000 years already. And maybe they would. The end.